If you've ever lived somewhere with real woods, like the kind that swallow sound, you know there's a difference between night and dark. I don't mean the absence of sunlight. I mean that thick, heavy quiet, where the air feels like a closed door. That's what Western North Carolina feels like after midnight. And it's why I stopped delivering food. Not because of criminals, not because of bears, because of a phone call that wasn't meant for me, and a voice that learned my name. In 2023, I was 22 and living in Asheville, North Carolina, renting a basement apartment off Merriman Avenue with a buddy from community college. My plan was simple: save money, finish an HVAC certification, get out of the service industry loop. But plans don't pay rent. So I worked nights at a pizza place near Biltmore Village. One of those places that stays open late because tourists don't know when to quit and locals know when not to cook. I was the closer. I got the worst runs, the far ones, the tip if you're lucky ones. Most nights were boring. Drunk people, wrong addresses, dogs barking like they'd been waiting all evening for the chance to scream at a stranger. Then, late on a Thursday, one ticket printed that made my manager, Janelle, pause before she stuck it on the spike. She stared at it like it was a joke. "Do you know where this is?" she asked. I took it. The address was out past the Blue Ridge Parkway, near the entrance to Pisgah National Forest, up a road that got thin on Google Maps the way roads do when they stop being roads and start being agreements. The name on the ticket was Evan McKinney. The order was weird. One large pizza with extra meat, extra cheese, and a side of ranch. Like someone ordering for a party, except it was marked cash. And in the notes section, there was only one line: "Call when you arrive. Don't knock." Janelle shrugged like it was nothing, but her eyes didn't match her tone. "Guy sounded wrong," she said, like he was chewing the phone. I laughed because that's what you do when the other option is letting the hair on your arms mean something. "Probably a headset," I said, "or a bad signal." Janelle didn't laugh back. I tried calling the number on the ticket, just to confirm, like we do when an order is that far out. It rang 6 times. Then it picked up. No hello, no breathing, just a faint buzzing sound, like a fluorescent light struggling. I waited. "Hi, this is..." The line clicked. Then I heard it. Not a voice, not words, just a sound like someone dragging a finger over a microphone, slow and wet. I hung up and stared at my phone like it had insulted me. "Voicemail?" Janelle asked. "No," I said. "Nothing, just noise." She chewed her lip, then pointed to the pizza. "Well," she said, forcing it, "the oven's already hot." I left around 11:40 p.m. Asheville was still awake. Neon signs, late-night traffic, the kind of city noise that makes you feel safe because it makes you feel seen. But by the time I hit the Blue Ridge Parkway, everything changed. The road climbed. The lights disappeared. The radio started doing that thing where it can't decide if it wants to be music or static. Even the headlights felt smaller out there, like they were trying their best. I followed the GPS as it took me deeper into Pisgah, past trailheads and dark pull-offs, past signs that warned about steep grades and wildlife crossings. Then the GPS voice said calmly, "In 1.2 miles, turn right." There was no right turn, not a real one. Just a break in the trees where a narrow gravel lane disappeared like it had been erased. A little wooden marker stood at the entrance, the kind people put by mailboxes. No house number, just a name carved into it. McKinney. I turned in anyway. The gravel crunched under my tires. The trees leaned close overhead. The lane dipped and curved, and my headlights kept catching the same thing over and over. branches too low, leaves too still, and the glint of something reflective deeper in the woods that vanished when I tried to focus on it. I rolled the window down an inch to listen. The forest was quiet, not peaceful, quiet like it was waiting. When my headlights finally caught the house, I felt relief. Until I saw what kind of house it was. It looked lived in, but not cared for. A one-story place with a sagging porch, no curtains, and one outdoor light that flickered like it couldn't decide if it wanted to help. The driveway was empty, no cars, no porch furniture, and the yard was wrong. The grass was too short, like it had been shaved. And in the dirt near the porch steps, I saw lines, thin grooves, like something heavy had been dragged back and forth in the same spot. I parked by the porch and stared for a full 10 seconds, arguing with myself. Then I remembered the note. Call when you arrive, don't knock. So I called. It rang once and immediately picked up. No hello. Just that same buzzing. Closer now, louder, like it was in my ear instead of on the line. I pulled the phone away from my face and frowned. Hey, I said, raising my voice a little. This is Michael from... A sound cut through the buzzing. A breath, a long inhale. And then a voice said, very softly, Michael. My stomach dropped. I hadn't said my name. I sat perfectly still, the phone pressed against my ear, suddenly aware of every small sound inside my car, my own breathing, the ticking of the cooling engine, the quiet, electric hum of the dashboard. Hello? I said. Evan? Silence. Then the voice said, clearer now, like it had practiced. Don't knock. My mouth went dry. I wasn't going to, I said, trying to sound normal. I'm out front. I've got your order. The buzzing returned for a second, fast, angry, then cut out. The line went dead. I stared at my phone. I looked up at the porch. The flickering porch light blinked twice and steadied. And that's when I noticed the front door was open. Not wide, just a crack, like someone had left it for a dog, or for me. I sat there with the pizza on my passenger seat, hands still on the phone, waiting for the normal part of the interaction. Someone stepping out, paying, taking the box, closing the door. Nothing happened. The woods stayed quiet. Then, from somewhere behind the house, I heard the faintest sound. A ringtone. Not my ringtone. Someone else's. A phone ringing out in the trees, maybe 30 or 40 yards away. I felt my throat tighten. Because the ringing didn't sound muffled. It sounded close, like it was meant to be heard. The porch light flickered again, and the crack of the front door widened by maybe an inch. I didn't see anyone. But I knew, in the dumb animal part of my brain, that something had moved. I should have left. That's the honest truth. But there's this thing that happens when you're tired, and you've spent years forcing yourself to be professional, no matter what. You keep doing the next step because stopping feels like admitting you're afraid. So I grabbed the pizza and stepped out. The cold hit me right away, sharp and wet. My shoes sank slightly into the shaved grass. I walked up to the porch. The boards creaked under my weight. I stood in front of the open door, and I didn't knock. I cleared my throat and said, "Hey, I'm here." The inside of the house was dark, not lights off dark. Dark like the air was thick, like it didn't want light in it. For a second, I thought I smelled something sour like old milk. Then the smell shifted into something worse. Wet trash, copper, and underneath it, something animal. My eyes adjusted just enough to see a narrow hallway. At the end of it, a second door. That door was closed, and it had scratch marks around the knob, not claw marks, finger marks. long vertical grooves like someone had dug in and pulled down. I stood frozen on the porch, pizza box starting to feel heavy in my hands. "Evan?" I said again. From inside the house came a soft sound, like someone trying to speak but forgetting how. Then a voice said, right behind me, "I'm coming." I whipped around so fast I nearly dropped the pizza. There was no one on the porch, no footsteps, no movement, just the night air and the trees. But the voice had been close enough to feel. I backed down one step, then another, and that's when my phone buzzed with an incoming call. The same number. I didn't answer. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it trying to silence the screen. The call stopped. Immediately, a voicemail notification popped up. I hadn't let it ring long enough for voicemail. My stomach turned cold. Against every instinct, I tapped it. The voicemail wasn't long. It was just a recording of breathing. Slow, patient breathing. And then my own voice said perfectly, "Hey, I'm here." The exact words I'd just spoken. Same tone, same hesitation, like the phone had been listening through me. Then the recording ended with a small sound, a tiny laugh that didn't belong to me. I backed away from the porch until I hit my car door. My eyes never left the open front door. The porch light stopped flickering. It glowed steady and bright. And in that steady light, I saw something I hadn't before. There were footprints on the porch, bare feet. But they weren't coming out of the house. They were going into it. From the edge of the porch, across the boards, through the open door. Like someone had walked in from the yard, like the house hadn't been empty, like it had been visited. My phone buzzed again. Another call. I didn't answer. The ringtone in the woods started up again, louder now, like it was closer. And then the voice, my voice, said from inside the house, "Michael, come here." That did it. I threw the pizza onto the porch like it was a live thing and slammed myself into the driver's seat. The keys shook in my hand. I started the car on the second try, tires spitting gravel as I reversed too hard and nearly clipped a tree. The lane was narrower than it had looked coming in. Branches scraped my roof. My headlights swung wildly, catching glimpses of the woods that made my eyes hurt. Too many vertical lines, too many places for something to stand and not be seen. As I sped down the gravel, my phone started ringing nonstop, one calls after another. The screen lit up so fast, it looked like it was blinking. Same number, same number, same number. And then, in the middle of it, one call came through labeled Janelle. I almost cried from relief. I answered with shaking hands. "Janelle," I gasped. "Call the cops. Something is..." But it wasn't Janelle's voice. It was mine, and it said, cheerful and normal, like we were back at the shop. "Hey, Janelle, I'm running this one. Be right back." I dropped the phone like it burned. The call didn't end. The voice kept talking through the speaker, softer now, slower. "Don't hang up. Don't hang up. Don't hang up." My headlights found the marker at the end of the lane, M. Kinney, and I nearly hit it as I shot back onto the parkway. The moment my tires touched pavement, the call stopped. The phone went dark, even the radio cleared up. For a second, it felt like waking up from a nightmare and realizing, you're safe. Then I glanced in my rearview mirror and saw a porch light, far back in the trees, flicker once and go steady, even though I was already too far away to see that house, even though the lane curved and dipped and should have hidden it. It was visible anyway, like it wanted me to know it was watching. I made it back to Asheville in record time. I didn't tell Janelle the full story at first, just that the place was off and I'd left the order. She tried to be mad until she saw my face. Then she nodded slowly and said, "Okay." Like she understood something she didn't want to explain. When I finally showed her my call log, dozens of missed calls from that number, she went pale. Because her phone had those calls too, at the same times, as if someone had been calling through the store. She called the number. It went straight to a dead line. No voicemail, no rings, nothing. Like it had never existed. I didn't sleep that night. Around 3:10 a.m., my phone buzzed once. A new voicemail. From no number at all. Just unknown. I didn't listen. I deleted it. Then my phone buzzed again. Another voicemail. Then another. One after another, like someone dropping pebbles into a well. By sunrise, I had 23 unheard voicemails, all from unknown. I drove out to the Blue Ridge Parkway that afternoon with my friend Sarah, because I didn't want to be alone, and because some part of me still needed proof it had been real. We found the gravel lane. We found the marker. But when we followed it in, there was no house, no porch, no shaved grass, just trees. A clearing that looked like it had been empty for years. In the middle of the clearing, half buried in leaves, there was a rotting wooden signpost. And carved into it, barely visible beneath moss, was a single word. McKinney. Sarah stared at it for a long time. Then she said quietly, "Michael, what if you didn't go to a house?" I didn't answer, because my phone had started buzzing in my pocket again. And I didn't need to look at the screen to know what it said. I could already hear it. A faint buzzing, like a struggling light. And my own voice learning how to speak again, saying my name. I used to think people exaggerated how quiet the desert could get at night. I grew up in Flagstaff, Arizona, so silence wasn't new to me. Snow-covered pines, empty highways, long stretches of nothing but stars. It was normal. But there's a difference between quiet and absence. I learned that difference one night in Coconino National Forest, when something followed me out of the trees, using my own voice. In late October of 2022, I was 26 and working seasonally for Arizona Game and Fish. Mostly survey work, camera traps, trail checks, that sort of thing. Nothing exciting, just long hikes, data sheets, and the occasional annoyed elk. That night, I was alone. I'd stayed later than planned, replacing batteries on a set of trail cameras off Forest Road 418, northeast of Flagstaff, not far from Sunset Crater Volcano National Monument. I knew the area well. I'd hiked those trails dozens of times. Pine forest, volcanic rock, uneven ground that liked to roll ankles if you weren't paying attention. By the time I finished the last camera, the sun was already gone. No big deal. I had a headlamp, GPS, radio, and my truck was less than 2 miles away. Still, I felt uneasy. Not scared, just watched. The forest was doing that thing where everything stopped at once. No insects, no wind, no movement. I remember stopping on the trail and saying out loud, "All right, that's enough spooky for one night." My own voice sounded wrong out there, too loud. Too lonely. I kept walking. About 10 minutes later, my radio crackled. Not a transmission, just static. I checked it, tapped the side, and clipped it back onto my pack. Then I heard footsteps behind me. At first, I assumed it was mine echoing. Volcanic rock does weird things with sound. So I stopped. The footsteps stopped too. That's when my skin prickled. I turned my headlamp slightly. sweeping the beam across the trail behind me. Nothing. Just trees and shadows, and my own footprints in the dirt. I laughed under my breath, partly to calm myself. "Get it together, Ryan," I muttered. From somewhere behind me, I heard my own voice say, "Get it together, Ryan." I froze. It wasn't distorted. It wasn't mockery. It was perfect. Same tone, same pacing, same slight breath at the end, like someone had played it back through the trees. My heart started hammering. I spun around, headlamp slicing through the darkness. "Hello?" I called. The word echoed farther than it should have. No response. I stood there for a full minute, listening so hard my ears hurt. Then softly, from deeper in the forest, my voice answered. "Hello?" It came from the wrong direction, not behind me anymore. Off to my left, where the trees thickened. I didn't answer. I didn't move. I just stood there, every instinct screaming at me to get back to my truck. After a few seconds, I took a careful step forward. Gravel crunched under my boot. Immediately, from the trees, I heard the same crunch. One step, perfectly timed. I took another crunch, mirrored, too clean to be an echo. I started walking faster. The crunches followed. Then the voice spoke again. "Hey," it said casually. "Wait up." I broke into a jog. The forest blurred past me, headlamp bouncing, breath loud in my ears. Behind me, I heard running footsteps, but they didn't sound panicked. They sounded relaxed. Like whoever was following me wasn't tired, wasn't rushing, wasn't worried about losing me. "Ryan," the voice called, closer now. "You forgot something." I nearly tripped over a root and caught myself at the last second. My radio crackled again. This time, it wasn't static. It was my own voice, speaking calmly through the speaker. Trail cam still blinking. I ripped the radio off my pack and threw it into the brush. The voice cut off mid-sentence. I didn't slow down. The trees started thinning as I neared the road. I could see the faint outline of my truck through the trunks. Relief hit me so hard, my legs felt weak. That's when I smelled it. Rot. Not animal rot. Something older, like wet leaves and copper and spoiled meat mixed together. The smell rolled through the air in a thick wave. I gagged and stumbled, barely keeping my feet. Behind me, the footsteps stopped. The voice spoke right next to my ear. "You're walking the wrong way," I screamed. Not words, just raw sound. I spun, swinging my headlamp wildly. The beam caught movement. Something tall slipping behind a tree just beyond the edge of the light. Too tall. The proportions were wrong. It wasn't shaped like a person standing. It was shaped like something pretending. My truck was 30 yards away. I ran. The smell intensified with every step, like whatever it was wanted me to know how close it was. I fumbled my keys out, hands slick with sweat, slammed into the driver's seat, and locked the doors without thinking. The moment the doors locked, the smell vanished. Complete silence returned. I sat there shaking, headlights pointed into the trees. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then my headlights flickered, just once. And something stepped into the beam. It stood at the edge of the trees, partially hidden. Tall, thin. Its arms hung too low. Its head tilted slightly, like it was studying me. Then it opened its mouth, and my voice came out, perfectly calm. "Ryan, unlock the door." I threw the truck into reverse and floored it, gravel spraying as I spun onto the road. In the rearview mirror, I saw it take one step forward, and then it was gone. I didn't report it that night. I told my supervisor I'd had equipment issues and needed the next day off. He didn't argue. Apparently, I looked bad enough that he didn't want details. I tried to sleep. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard my own voice saying things I didn't remember saying. Around 2:30 a.m., my phone buzzed. A voicemail notification from my own number. I stared at it for a long time before opening it. The recording was quiet at first. Then I heard footsteps, gravel crunching, breathing. Then my voice whispered, "You ran." I deleted it, blocked my own number, turned my phone off. The next morning, I went back out with 2 co-workers, Maria and Joel, to retrieve the cameras from that area. Broad daylight, 3 people, armed with radios and sidearms. We found the camera I'd serviced last. It was still blinking. Maria crouched to check the footage. Her face tightened. "Ryan," she said slowly, "were you back out here last night after you left?" "No," I said immediately. "Why?" She turned the screen toward me. The footage showed the trail at night, my headlamp moving away from the camera. Then, about 10 seconds later, another figure stepped into view. Tall, barely illuminated. It paused, turned its head toward the camera, and spoke. The audio picked it up faintly. My voice, clear as day. "Get it together, Ryan." Joel swore under his breath. Maria shut the camera off. None of us said anything for a long time. Finally, she said, "You're not the first." I looked at her. She hesitated, then added, "Just the first who got out." I quit 2 weeks later, moved out of Flagstaff, changed my number. But sometimes, late at night, when everything goes quiet, I hear my own voice outside my window, asking me to come back. There's a stretch of road in Door County, Wisconsin, where your phone signal dies so completely it feels intentional. Like something decided you didn't need it anymore. I learned that the hard way in February of 2024, while driving alone between Bailey's Harbor and Sister Bay, when a call came through anyway. I'm from Green Bay originally, but I'd taken a winter contract job inspecting marina electrical systems along the peninsula. Most of the tourist towns shut down after October, which made the work easier and the nights quieter. Too quiet, honestly. That night, I'd finished late at a property near Cana Island Lighthouse. Snow had been falling off and on, the heavy, wet kind that swallows sound. By the time I packed up my tools, it was after 9 p.m. The roads were empty. No headlights, no porch lights, just reflectors and trees and frozen shoreline. I headed south on County Road Q, planning to cut over toward Highway 57. My truck radio faded in and out, eventually, settling into static. Then my phone rang. I glanced down, confused. No bars, no service. The caller ID read, "Dad, my dad, Thomas Keller, had died 3 years earlier from a heart attack." I didn't answer. The ringing stopped after 4 rings. A second later, my phone buzzed with a voicemail notification. I pulled over near a snowbank, heart pounding, and stared at the screen. Rational explanations raced through my head, spoofed numbers, glitches, delayed notifications. Still, I didn't listen. I put the phone face down and kept driving. A mile later, it rang again. Same name, same lack of signal. This time, I answered. "Hello?" I said, my voice tight. For a moment, all I heard was wind, then a familiar breath, a throat clearing. My father's voice said gently, "You missed the turn." My hands clenched the steering wheel. "You're not funny," I said, forcing a laugh. "Who is this?" Silence. Then the voice replied, "Closer now. Slow. Down, Aaron." That was enough. I hung up and tossed the phone into the passenger seat like it had burned me. The road curved ahead, flanked by trees bent under snow. My headlights caught something strange. Footprints, not animal. Boot prints, crossing the road, fresh. I slowed instinctively. As I passed them, my phone buzzed again. Another call. This time the ID read, Aaron, my own name. I didn't answer. The call went to voicemail. Then another came in, and another, each one from a slightly different variation. ER1E Keller, unknown. My dashboard lights flickered. Just once. I pressed the gas. The road narrowed, trees closing in tighter, branches forming a tunnel over the asphalt. I realized I hadn't seen a reflective marker or road sign in several minutes. I checked my GPS. The map was blank. Just a pulsing dot where my truck should be. My phone chimed. A new voicemail. Against my better judgment, I tapped it. At first, there was nothing. Then, I heard tires on snow. My tires. Recorded. And under that, a whisper. Don't hang up. I shut the phone off completely. The road dipped. As I came over the small hill, my headlights caught something standing in the middle of the lane. I slammed the brakes. The truck skidded slightly but stopped. The figure stood still. Tall, broad-shouldered. Wearing a winter coat I recognized instantly. My dad's old Packers parka, the one he'd worn until the zipper broke. The face was wrong. Too pale. Eyes too reflective. But the stance, the way the hands rested at the sides, was perfect. Dad, I whispered before I could stop myself. The figure took one step forward. The snow didn't crunch, it just compressed. Then my phone turned itself back on. The screen lit up. Incoming call. Dad, the figure tilted its head. My father's voice came from both the phone and the thing in the road at the same time. You left the lights on. I threw the truck into reverse and floored it. The tires spun, then caught, and I fishtailed back down the road, barely staying between the snowbanks. In the mirror, I saw the figure turn slowly, and then step off the road. Not into the trees, just vanish. I didn't stop driving until I hit Highway 57. Signal bars popped back onto my phone instantly. 5 missed calls, 3 voicemails, all from numbers that no longer existed. I pulled into a gas station near Sturgeon Bay and sat there shaking, engine idling. Eventually, curiosity won. I listened to the first voicemail. It was my voice, panicked, crying, saying, "Dad, please answer." I hadn't said those words in years. The second voicemail was quieter, just breathing. The third made my stomach drop. It was my dad again, but angry this time. "You don't listen," he snapped. "That's why you're alone." I deleted them all. I didn't drive back through Door County for weeks. When I finally did, during daylight, I took Highway 42 instead. Out of curiosity, I tried to find the stretch of road where it happened. I couldn't. County Road Q existed, but the curve, the hill, the footprint crossing, none of it lined up. Later, I asked a local electrician named Mark Jensen about it. He frowned when I described the area. "You don't mean the old shoreline road, do you?" he asked. "I don't know," I said. "It wasn't marked." Mark shook his head. "They shut that spur down years ago," he said. "Erosion, sinkholes, a couple of bad accidents." "What kind of accidents?" He hesitated. "Single car," he said. "People saying they followed the wrong voice." I laughed weakly. "Wrong voice?" Mark shrugged. "Parents, spouses, kids, familiar ones." That night, back in my apartment in Green Bay, my phone buzzed at exactly 9:17 p.m. One notification. Voicemail. From Aaron. I didn't listen. I still don't. But sometimes, when the house is quiet and the snow is falling just right, I swear I hear footsteps outside. Stopping, waiting, like someone expecting me to answer.